Hold
Welcome to the
on.
No Cap Sports Show podcast where sports and convos collide. I am your host, Kobe the Cobra.
I'm your host, Mo Money.
What's up, Mo? How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm outstanding, big bro.
Yeah. Look, I'm excited to do this show this evening because we got a very special guest this evening. Our guest is a former superstar athlete, a former superstar football player out of the DMV area. He went to Bishop O'Connell High School, and then he took his talents to the University of Virginia, where he was a
Yeah.
superstar there. And then he took his talents to the NFL and landed with the Indianapolis Colts and became a Super Bowl champion. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Terrence Wilkins.
I appreciate it,
Salute,
fellas.
salute.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, how
Good to
you
be
doing,
here.
brother?
I'm
Yeah, how you
good,
doing?
man.
Good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Just out here living,
hmm
enjoying
Yeah,
life, man.
that's
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm
that's
talking
what's
about.
up. We definitely excited to have you on the show tonight. I know a lot of viewers and listeners been hitting this beforehand, want to really hear about you and hear what you got to say about the state of the NFL, about college football, about everything. Want to hear about your background story. So, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. Um,
Yeah.
I like to start from the beginning. So we all know what you ultimately became. You a superstar NFL player. But where did it start? When did you know that you had a special gift and you could become a professional athlete or at least a great athlete to do some special things in the sport?
Well, it just came back. It was one of those things. I mean, I think for a lot of athletes and for a lot of um, people that have their inspirations and and talents that start when you're 4 or 5 years old. And as you know, Kobe, I mean, we've been playing ball, basketball, football, all that growing up in the DMV area um, since we, you know, was playing. Granddaddy picked it up and you know all in the backyard playing ball. So it is one of those. It's always a dream to accomplish one of those goals, make it to a professional to the professional level, and that was one of mine. Going to two and three different high schools, started at GW, went to St. Stephen's, transferred, and as a sophomore, I went to talk to the principal myself. I went in there and talked to the principal and asked, you know, I want to go to school here. And my parents didn't even know that I even went and had that conversation. That's a lot of people don't know that. And and that I left even when I left GW, I did the same thing to St. Stephen's, and then I realized I wanted to be in the Metro Conference, and I went to talk to that principal as well. So I always say it's one of those things that you got to be uh, uh, persistent and have a sense of urgency when it comes down to pursuing your dreams, and that was one of those things that was a mindset for me all the time. I mean, and so I think, starting early, I told my mother um, when I was 9, I said, you know what, I'm gonna be playing on TV. I told her that in the kitchen, and she'd tell you that to this day. That, oh, okay, she was like, oh, okay, I hear you, but I told her when I was 9 years old, that's what I was gonna be doing, man. So it started way back then when I was young.
So did you know? So did you know football would be your tool to get you there, or was there other sports that interest you before football?
You know what? Basketball was my first love. I mean, I love playing basketball, and it was one of those things that, um, you know, day in and day out, I was just playing basketball. I love football too, as well, but I was more focused on that, and I didn't even play football my sophomore year. Like when I was at St. Stephen's, I just played basketball. I didn't even play football uh, at St. Stephen's my sophomore year, and I just played basketball. And then that summer, I played summer league for Bishop O'Connell, and then I ended up going to O'Connell, and then I went out for the football team, and and from then on, it was just, the sky was the limit.
Well, you made a hell of a choice because we know what you ultimately became, and then also if you played basketball, you would have had to get this work. I would have had to give you this work.
Right. Hey, yeah, I know. I already know. Hey, but you know what? I really, what determined that was, you got a couple of letters playing basketball, and and then I was like, I was getting more letters from Notre Dame and Clemson for football, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go this route because that's kind of how I saw it. I wanted to be playing, on the big screen, So that's kind of how I made that decision. No question.
Yes. So you got the beginning, you got the middle. You mentioned UVA. Obviously, you turned up in college, or you wouldn't have ended up in the NFL. What I want to know, and what the viewers want to know, or for the people that don't know, I distinctly remember watching you with the Indianapolis Colts and returning kicks and playing with Peyton Manning, being part of that Tony Dungy regime. I got a couple questions for you about that era. One, what was it like to play for Coach Tony Dungy?
Out of all the coaches I've had, Tony Dungy is that one coach that was more like a father figure, also as well as a coach. I mean, you talking about a man that never said, we never heard him say any bad word. He never cussed. He never raised his voice or really singled anybody out in a disrespectful way. So he was the type of person that didn't have to say, to me, he was the type of coach that didn't have to say much when you hit the field. You wanted to win for T. Dungy. I mean, he was that guy that you wanted to really go out there and give 100% for because of how he went about it, So it was a good experience playing for T. Dungy, man. For real.
That's good. That's good. You also played with, in some people's opinion, Super Bowls aside in that era, either one of the best quarterbacks or the second best quarterback in Peyton Manning. So what was it like to play with the sheriff in practice and on the field?
Man, it was Peyton. You really had to come correct every day, every practice. It was like you had to turn your thinking cap on every day, and he made sure that you was on point with everything as well too when you were out there. I mean, we would be in our wide receiver rooms. He would come in there and he would, all them signals we have, and he'd throw us this signal, this is what we doing this week. This is what it is this week. And you just had to constantly be on point with everything, man. When February came, I mean, you literally, you was exhausted because everything, just the physical aspect. It was, the game is physical, but the mental side of it for playing in Indy, you just had to be on point with it. And he was definitely a great quarterback, man, for sure, as we know.
So if you had the choice to choose between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, who you going with?
I just got to go with the person that I played with the most, man. I mean, as far as one of I got to go with the quarterback that I played with the most. I mean, and I think both of them are, both of them are Hall of Famers. Both of them are great quarterback. Both of them are passionate about the game. But the only one I had experience with was Peyton for that 5 years. So the 5 years in Indy. So yeah, I would probably go with Pete.
Okay, because I asked one of your former teammates that same question, and he also went with Peyton Manning. So Antoine Bethea, who's a friend of the show, little bro. That's a good dude right there. So what do you remember about playing with Twan?
Antoine, you know what? He came in and he was a freshman, and we chopped it up a little bit. I mean, not a freshman, he was a rookie, and he was and we was just, we talked for a minute because he was from around the area, and so we chopped it up a little bit in the locker room, and he was quiet, didn't talk too much, but he got his ball on, man. I mean, Antoine he was just a baller, man. He was a ball out there, no question. It was good to see him doing his thing.
Yeah. Did you envision he would have such a long career? Because I think he played, 12, 13 years in the league?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't envision that, but, I'm sure he did. And that's what it was about. I mean, I think it's one of them things that you got to have a certain mindset. And he gave it to him. And somebody that gave it to him, day in and day out. And the key with football is, injuries can shorten that career up for you. So you just taking care of your body mentally and physically was crucial, man.
Yeah. I got another question for you. So as a great kick returner yourself, I believe you had 5 or 6 touchdowns during your NFL career in the kick return game. Why do you feel like there's an NFL bias in speaking on Devin Hester and getting into the Hall of Fame on the kick return game? We don't see Brian Mitchell in there, no Devin Hester. Like, in your opinion, just enlighten the viewers, like what a kick return can do to set up a great offense.
Well, it is a key component, man. I mean, it's a game changer. I mean, and it's also a position that not too many can do. I mean, it's tough. People, when we make it look easy, but when you catching punts in the rain and when you out there in crucial moments and you got millions of people out there, all eyes on you at that one moment, man, it's intense. And it's like, a person like Devin Hester, I mean, of course, we already know he was a hell of a returner, a hell of a game changer, and I don't it's always going to be a question of why they're so biased about it, and maybe it's because of how it impacts the game, or that position is not on the field as much, but it's definitely a position that changed the game. We've all, as returners, has changed the game and made a lot of defensive teams and special teams rethink kicking that ball down there, because we always had that mindset. I know my mindset is I'm gonna catch everything, I'm gonna take it to the house, and that's just your mindset as a returner.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So T, I remember back in the day, a lot of people who was there from the beginning of when you started to really take off in football. We all remember you playing running back. So when did you start to concentrate on being more of a wide receiver and kickoff returner and kind of separate yourself from the running back position?
Man, I went to UVA. And hey, they was bringing it, and back. Hey, I was in that backfield, and them cats was teeing off on me. Yeah, I said, man, look. But you know what? It was the fact that it was just so different, because at O'Connell it was more of a toss right, toss left. I was running outside, and then when I got to UVA, it was more, you running in between the tackles. It was just different. It was different. It was one of them things that you had to come in, and I had Tiki Barber in front of me. That's who the running back was, and then they had brought Thomas Jones, and he had came in a couple of years before, and I was willing to make that change to wide receiver when Coach Wells asked me to, and it was one of those things. He called me in his office, and he was like, we're thinking about moving you to wide receiver. Would you want to move? I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, that was something that I brought on. And then during that summer, I I started playing wide receiver, and then I was like, dang, I'm getting the ball out here now. I'm not in the backfield. I'm getting it out in open space, and I can make people miss and do things like that. So it kind of worked out. I mean, I was pretty raw, and I was pretty raw at wide receiver, and just learning throughout the next 2 years. But it was a good experience, and that's how that transition was made.
Okay.
So also, I don't want to bring up little PTSD about the Colts moments, but y'all had a hell of a team. I want to say there's probably 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on that squad, right?
Yeah.
But we know
Yeah.
y'all kept bumping your head every year. Take me around the mood. What was it like around the team when you like, damn, I got Peyton, I got Reggie, I got Marvin. What we missing? The White Freeney, we got it all.
Hey, it was for the times when I left, I think it was earlier before we got Reggie, we and D Free, we would like be close, and then I think when we finally got them, and got some a lot of other guys that can contribute. I think that's when it took off. But yeah, it was times that we were like, even with Coach Moore. I don't have Coach Moore before Tony Dungy came. So I think those changes helped us a lot when it came down to those playoff times. Just like the year we went to the Super Bowl, I think we was down 27 to, I mean, we were down 24-3 or something at halftime, and that was one of those moments that playing for Tony Dungy, in the locker room, he didn't say too much. It was just rallying around the guys in the locker room and really wanting to play for T Dungy that really brought us back in that game, I think, and we went on to the Super Bowl. So it was ups and downs. I mean, football, NFL is more like, it's hard. People don't realize how hard it is to get the right pieces to the puzzle for the game. I mean, it's just, guys get hurt, guys get traded. You draft one, then those guys get traded. So it's so much to it, man. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So now that you're retired from the NFL and you sit back and you watch some games now, who do you enjoy watching? Like, what players really pique your interest? You like, I got to watch this player because he brings it every Sunday, and he excites me.
I probably would say Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dog.
because he can just go. I mean, I like to see little receivers go out there and just and just do it. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of them receivers that with them against all odds type of cats, man. That he can go out there and just in any given Sunday, give you 200 or take one to the house. But I like watching him, and let me see. Yeah, I probably, I don't know who else out there that I mean, if I'm watching, I'll watch the Colts, but we really struggling right now. So
Yeah. What you think
Transition.
about the new quarterback?
Huh?
What you think about the Colts' new quarterback?
You know, he's going to be good, man. They young right now, so anytime when you're a rookie like that, you really can't. It's just a learn. Everything, the game speeds up so fast. It's so. I mean, it's one of them things that you can't really critique him as much because he's a rookie. So, but I think they missing a couple of pieces that I'm sure that they're gonna capitalize on next year and really come with it. But he's definitely gonna contribute. He's definitely gonna be a good QB, I think.
Yeah. So don't judge Mo on this, but he's a Cowboys fan, right? So I mean, they starting off on fire. Where do you see them going? What's their potential for this season?
Cowboy, they always choke though, man. The Cowboys always choke, man. I mean,
Peanut butter, straight peanut butter.
them dudes always choke, man. But that was I think with they 2-0 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they 2-0. And their defense is official. I mean, the defense, they got some dogs on defense. I mean, if they can put it together, if Prescott and them, if they can put it together and make sure the second half of the season they just, playing good football, I mean, they should be, in the playoff race.
And on that note, it's one thing. It's a great parallel between y'all and the Cowboys. That's now. If you look at the records, Dak is his record, Peyton Manning record, talent aside, just from a win-loss perspective, it's pretty close.
Right.
Dallas had to change this. It did. Go look it up, Kobe. He might not be winning in the playoffs. My man only had.
I know you the stat man. I ain't gonna challenge.
Dak Prescott has only had one losing season. The season he got hurt, that don't count. But in his time in the NFL, he's only had one losing season. Right. But
they had more than 2 playoff wins in 9-year time frame. Come on, bro.
Oh, absolutely. He had exactly one more, right? He would get to the second round and then lose. You know what I mean? I'm just it's but here's the thing. This is what I'm getting at. The philosophy of the Indianapolis Colts was to primarily play through Peyton Manning and pretty much run the score, right? It wasn't until they changed their philosophy, we're gonna run first, or let Peyton not check from as many runs because he checked out a lot of them. And we're going to play good defense, right? We got Dwight Freeney. We got Mathis. We got Bethea in the back. I believe Bob Sanders was there the year y'all won it.
Bob, yeah.
And then I forgot the linebackers y'all had, but they were solid too. And y'all played more complimentary football.
Gary Brackett.
There you go. Pro Bowler. So y'all played more complimentary football and it's the same thing that's happened in Dallas. A lot of people made fun of Mike McCarthy being the head coach, but he's playing complimentary football. We're going to play through this defense. We're going to run the ball. We're going to limit Dak's ability to throw. That's the secret sauce to winning in the NFL.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's the thing too, is figuring out the weapons you have on your team, how to utilize them, and you're right. That looks like that's what they're doing. I mean, what the Cowboys are doing now. But it's just that them games, just when you want to jump on them, it just like they'll lose the sense. They'll just lose a game that they should have blew them out from about 21, 20, 28 points. Right. So, it's just they just got to get over the hill with just them games like that, because NFL, like, it's one of them things you can't just have a winning season. Like, they want to win some Super Bowls, and with the team, and they have a lot of potential. I mean, the Cowboys got a lot of potential, man. I mean, they got some dogs on there. I mean, the wide receivers, I mean, everything. So they should be, the expectations for them are high. And they should be, playoff contenders this year for sure. I think. What you think, Cole? You don't think so?
Nah, I'll admit, after 2 weeks of watching them, it does feel different. It does. It does feel different. But like I say, time will tell with them. Because you can't judge the Cowboys by week 2, week 4, week 6. You got to see what they do once they start getting the 10th time entering into the playoffs. But right now, I will say y'all look really good, and it does feel different. But before we jump to another topic, I ain't gonna end the NFL talk with the Cowboys. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. So my mob, I love the Baltimore Ravens, right? So as a former receiver, would you have liked to play with Lamar Jackson?
I
I don't
mean,
think the answer.
Lamar.
I don't even like how that answer started. T, what the hell going
No,
on?
Lamar. You know what? Yeah, because eh, I mean, as much talent as he had, you definitely. I mean, you definitely gonna be blocking. The only reason I said that is because I'm gonna have to put the horse collar on. I gotta be blocking out that giant. I would have been blocking a lot. I mean, I don't mind blocking, but you gonna have the horse collar on out there with that dude, man. Like for real. So, but it would be nice to sit back and watch him make them plays like that because he's serious out there. I mean, running the ball, and through the last couple of years, I mean, he's a drop back quarterback now, so his threat is crazy right now. So he can turn it off. He can put the ball on, drop it on the dime, or he can make it play with his legs too, though. So I definitely, no question, it would have been cool playing with him for real.
Hey, it's the no cap show, big bro. You ain't got the cap. I know y'all got the NFL fraternity. Well, you ain't running all them hills, them sprints,
right?
Practicing with the jug machine to get out there and play tight end.
Oh no!
Hey, you like, hey, Lamar, this is a slant, bro. It's 1, 2, 3, throw to me. What you doing?
Yeah.
See,
put
you a hater, bro. You a hater, bro. Hey, look, that's better than the wide receiver got to turn around and play cornerback or linebacker chasing down corners after Dak throw an interception.
Right.
Hey,
right.
It's either interceptions or fumble. Lamar Jackson to get that thing up, man.
Yeah. He got to. I ain't gonna lie. He got to do better with that. He hold that thing like it's a loaf of bread.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Mike used to do that too. They hold that ball like that, but he used to get it. Mike Vick.
Oh yeah.
Mike used
to. Yeah, I remember. I haven't played video games in ages and years, but I remember back in the day watching friends play Madden, and they used Mike Vick. And even on the video game, they had him very fumble prone. Like if he get hit, Michael Vick would always fumble on the video game. Yeah. Like, damn, that's crazy.
And speed was on 150 though.
Speed was through the roof.
Yes.
Yeah. So to get on another topic, what you think about this movement that they got out there in Boulder, Colorado? Deion Sanders and them boys. What's your feeling about that?
Man, Deion changing the game, man. I mean, he's really changing coaching, and how his mentality, and the consistency and the sense of urgency that he has with the players, and how he has 75 guys buying in to a philosophy, in a certain mindset that he had these guys, that he had those boys going into right now, and like they can run through a brick wall or something. And like he always mentions, it's not just the football, but it's the lifestyle. It's learning life rules and really being young men. And I really commend them for that, for the fact that those kids are feeling that too. It's not just you coaching me on my stop route, my post route, but you really care, and you really want to make sure I'm getting something out of the education side of it, football, and being in life. So I mean, I'm behind that, no question. And I think for what he's doing, he's just changing coaching. He's changing coaching, and he, against all odds, like everybody keeps throwing stuff in front of him, and he keep bobbing and weaving, and he keep knocking it down. Everybody doubting, and oh, he can't do this, can't do that, but at the same time, he making it happen, no question. So he good stuff up there.
Yes, sir. He's doing it his way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So look, keeping it on college football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you was playing now, um, what you think about that NIL money, bruh? Like what I mean, what like do you like that
Hey,
the NIL is in place now, or you think that would have been a hindrance for you?
uh, I think it works now. I mean, and that's what I mean. It was overdue, to be honest. I mean, I think it gives, uh, and then and I guess that depends too. I mean, because it can hinder some guys. I mean, you got the transfer portal, you got the NIL. I mean, it's really all over the place. So it just depends. I think for me personally, I don't think it would have affected. I mean, I probably would have. Uh, I can't say I would want to be a part of it. I mean, I think it was probably in my case it was better to stay hungry and to keep working, to get where I needed to be, during that era of our era of time. So, but for them now, if it's working for these young kids now, I mean, you know, and they getting paid too. They don't even have to go to the league now. You getting a meal ticket in college.
Yeah. What you got, Mo?
I think in the long run, just to piggyback off of that, I think it'll help some of these talent evaluators with these quarterbacks, and they work ethic, like a guy like Shadur Sanders. I mean, I don't want to count his bag, but it's out there. It's like allegedly 1.9 million or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So if he can survive that in college, then the pros should be no problem because the bag just get a little bit bigger, but he
right,
already had it. I think that's what hurt a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of these players when they get to the Jamarcus Russell is a prime example. If you never had anything and then you get
right,
that first bag, you really don't know how to handle it sometimes. You're doing a little bit too much. You're not sticking to the routine. You're not being disciplined. And now it's, you being labeled as the biggest bust of all time,
right.
which that's a label ESPN put on them. Anytime you get about $65 million, I kind of, I got to argue. Really,
Right.
is he a bust in life? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But you know what? I agree with you 100%, Mo. The reason why I like the NIL is because you get these young kids used to having money before they thrown out there to the wolves. Back in the day, you know, a lot of kids came from situations where they didn't have money. You know what I mean? They was
Right,
poor, and then finally they got thrown a bag, and now they just balling out of control, not really knowing how to be responsible with the money. But
absolutely.
now they have 2, 3, 4 years to get used to having money. Even if they blow it, so what? They still in college, so they learning, what I mean, on the fly. And by the time they get into the league, they know how to manage that money better. But I do think that these universities, if they're not doing it, need to be doing some financial literacy courses for all of these athletes, just so they know how to manage that money that they're making now, and they can carry that with them into the NFL.
100%. I mean, I do think, um, I mean, and it is big. I mean, it just used to be just just training and the camps and making sure you finding the right college. But now like you said, you getting large amounts of money now, and it can be a distraction too if you don't have the support team and the resources that you need to back you up with like you said, financial literacy. Um, and and you see it in you seeing it in guys. You see it in I do some mentoring with college kids, high school kids. I had one in the league that uh, he bought a Porsche,
Mm.
but he was renting an apartment, and that was his third year.
Mm.
So I said, you can't have $150,000 car and you didn't buy your house yet. Buy you something. I don't care what it is. Just buy you something. Just get something, because it's good to have just to buy a house or have something. And and it's just little things like that cats need to know, and you just need to be educated about when you making those decisions with your money, because we all made you know, everybody that made bad decisions, and it's not because you didn't want to. It's just because you didn't know. You know, I mean, and that's okay, as long as you correct them. You know what I mean? But it's out there. It's a lot of guys that mean well with their money, and but it's also you need the right guidance and the right resources to make sure you're making the right decisions.
It's great advice right there. I hope
Yeah.
they clip that. That's a bar right there, man. And
100%.
stay away from all the good idea fairies, man. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Hey, they out there. Them good ideas, right? Hey,
I tell you one thing, if
but
NIL was around when I was hooping in college, I would have been the oldest college player in the country. I would have been red shirting every year. They were like, damn, I know he been in college like 9 years. They would have had to give me a pension.
hey, I know that's right.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
T, I know you have to get out of here. Mo, you got any final questions for Terrence?
yeah, so I ask a lot
Yeah.
of guests, especially the super successful ones like yourself, Kobe, old dog. If you had one advice to give the old you on this journey that we call life, especially going to the NFL, college, what advice would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself. That's a good question. That's a good question, man. What advice would I get? What advice would I give myself
Mm-hmm.
before this journey of my career? Um, I pretty much I would probably say I would tell myself to be patient, because patience is crucial. Because I was always rushing to do this and do that, and I'm trying to, even if it was something to invest in, even if it was just not being, you know, mindful of certain things. So I would definitely say be patient and be mindful of situations, man. And I would tell young guys, and that's the things that I tell guys now, is making sure you just understand. I always say the why question: why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And just understand what's behind all of it, as far as just being patient with whatever you want to do. So I would say that's definitely what I would say is just having patience and being mindful.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Great
And
response.
the last thing I got for you, T, is a lot of our viewers and listeners want to know what are you doing now? Where can they catch you?
Well, right now I do a lot of like little real estate investments. I got some like rental properties and stuff like that. But I do um, and I'm in the DMV area. I'm back in the area a little bit more now too. I'm out of town now, but I was living in Las Vegas and in Florida, but mostly real estate, just real estate, and then my mentoring young players. I started a little mentor thing, Athletes Built for Success, because of the little players that I work with, mentor. I keep in touch with them, a text here and there if they got questions and need any advice or anything. So I got a group of guys that I work with that, and that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. But I love working with the youngins, man. I love working with the young players and giving them advice and helping them with resources that they need to pursue their journey. Because like you said, Mo, you don't want to be in that position where you like, damn, I want to, what would I do different? And I always tell my young guys, I said, everybody get one paintbrush of life, and you get one shot at it. I'm not giving my paintbrush to anybody to paint my life, so I tell them to do the same. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
but that's a passion of mine, though, working with the youngins, though, no question.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, that's great. Look, T, man, it was definitely an honor and a pleasure having you on the show. I never got to say this to you face to face, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your journey, all the accomplishment that you've had. I'm still a little upset you didn't choose to go to Notre Dame, but that's a whole nother story.
Right.
But we definitely appreciate you coming on the show, and you're welcome back here anytime, bro.
All right, appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All
Definitely
right.
appreciate it.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Salute.
All right.
Salute, King.
All right.
This is the No Cap Sports Show podcast. Thank all our viewers and listeners for tuning in. We definitely appreciate your support. Until the next time, salute.